Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a little Instagram live. Now, we are about to be joined by one of our friends from Pentax Rico, Mr. Antonio, who came along on the Big Film Photowalk with us, what was it, about a month ago, maybe a bit longer than that. And those of you who sort of went on the walk or saw the communications about the walk know that we were going to do a competition, photo competition, for photos taken on Kodak Gold on that day. And we've worked with Antonio at Pentax to whittle down, I think, 1,200 entries down to just 10 that we'll be showing you. And of those 10, we have a winner. The winner is going to get a Pentax 17, beautiful, fresh from the factory, Pentax 17 film camera, and they are also going to get a lovely selection of Kodak film. Now, this is a selection. You could win this because, of course, we're going to talk to them and ask what kind of film do they like before Kodak sends them a little goodie bag. So we're going to have, as I say, talk through the photos with one winner announced at the end. So please do stick around. We're not going to spend a load of time on it, probably just 10-15 minutes. And I'm excitedly waiting to see if Mr. Antonio turns up. And he tells me that he's proper travelling salesman today, so he's dialing in from the car, and should be arriving any second. And here we go. We have an Antonio. Antonio, can you hear me?
Hi, Paul. Good afternoon. Yes, I can hear you well.
Good afternoon, sir. So I was just explaining to folks who are joining that what we're going to do today is we are going to talk through the Big Film Photowalk. You've looked through, was it 1,200 images?
Indeed. It was a great activity all over the country. A really impressive activity you put together, Paul, with the team. Very nice.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, what's nice about all the photos that came in was obviously it was like a moment in time. All these photos were taken on one day around the UK on Kodak Gold. So you got to see a nice montage of the United Kingdom in a day.
Absolutely. That's the actual big topic in these shots. In the 12 shots that I selected among all these nice images. And I must admit, a lot of good pictures came through. Thank you also for selecting the la creme de la creme of it. So really nice, nice images. But of course, there are 12 images that came up on top. And then, as you said earlier, we're going to have the 3 winners. I mean, the first, second, and third place.
Yeah.
I pass it to you.
And before we dive in, so you work for Pentax, Pentax Rico, which is why you've been helping us with sort of selecting it. You were with me on one of the London photo walks. But tell us a little bit about your own sort of photographic journey. You worked for Pentax Rico, which up until recently only shot digital, but you shoot film, right?
Yes, indeed. So my main focus is documentary photography and street photography, so reportage and street photography. I'm working on several projects as we speak, and exhibition as well. I work for Ricoh Pentax now since 5 years. I work for other corporations such as Panasonic and so on. But of course, my main passion and my main activity and work is photography. So I do shoot film. I own several cameras. Of course, I have a Pentax 17, and I've really enjoyed using it so far. And this, it is kind of a beginner entry level in terms of features. But however, you need to know how to expose, because, for example, you need to use exposure compensation on the Pentax 17 and many other features that are on it. Because we have a little amount of time right now, we cannot dive into it too much. But yeah, definitely I like and I love to shoot film as a collateral, as a side thing. But nevertheless, it's really good to have some nice film images. And yet again, with Pentax 17, it was really fun to use it.
Yeah, and we you obviously broke Kodak's heart on the day because we were taking, as a collaboration with Kodak, everyone was shooting Kodak Gold. apart from Antonio, who I think had Ilford black and white loaded.
Yes, indeed. I shoot only monochrome, and so I apply that also into film photography. It's a choice I made many years ago, and I never looked back. And I don't think there is right or wrong shooting film or digital or monochrome or color. You can shoot a variety of it. It's all about what is your workflow. So in my case, monochrome works best. So that's why, yeah.
No, well, we've forced you to spend a lot of time looking at colour film. And of course, anyone who is in Club AW, Antonio is going to come back and join a click and chat next Friday on the 30th, where we'll be able to get a lot more into Antonio's personal work and shooting, but also, you know, the response to Pentax 17, any tips and tricks, and hopefully he'll give us some sneak peeks of what might be under the hood for later. So yeah, so if you're a part of Club AW, watch out for an email, I think, this weekend that's going out with details of signing up. So we'll see more of Antonio, which is fantastic. But let's get stuck in, Antonio. So you looked through 1,200 photos, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show them on the screen. We've got the prints out here. Everyone who is featured in the shortlist will send you the prints themselves as well, because they're beautiful prints that we've done in the lab. Antonio's going to briefly talk through what he liked about each photo, why it stood out of over 1,000 photos. And then when we get to the top three, we'll pause and then we'll go into it. So first of all, we have this lovely photo from Gerard Savage, Gerard Savage West on Instagram @Savage Direction. So what do you like about this photo, Antonio? What made it stand out?
So this picture stands out because apart from the chromatic balance of it and the fact that it's a like kind of spiritual Mecca, in this case Buddhist setting, and as well all these colors really are in harmony together. As you can see, the warm colors. Of course, the monk sleeping adds a lot of character to the image. The Buddha at the back of the monk, almost having a laugh. So it tells a story, and as well the phone on the chair also for me sealed the deal, in the sense that it brings this picture is timeless, because if you see the settings, it looks like it can be back in the 70s, but on the other end you see the cell phone, which add that modernity to it. So your eyes go around the pictures and look at different items within it, and then yeah, so that's why I think it seals the deal. Modern yet with a touch of nostalgia.
Brilliant, thank you. Okay, this is Emilybunduk, who is at M's Weird World on Instagram. So we've got a beach and Palestinian flag. So what stood out here?
Yeah, so in this case, there is a touch of, first of all, the composition of it is really strong, in my view, because although there are, let's say, for example, there is a lot of negative space on the top, the sea, the ship at the back of the image, at the far back, is very an important component, I believe. Without that, will be a little bit too much negative space. The bottom part, of course, tell a story and is the land, and there is also a component, political things apart. There is a war in progress right now, and this is very actual in terms of what it is, and also the flags that are blown by the wind, clearly visible, and all these people having a gathering. It does give a very strong message in terms of what's a current issue. So I think it's quite solid documentary kind of shot, where also you see the land, the secure land, and the sea, which is another element, which is an element of anyway of the unknown, so going from the known to the unknown, and so it's quite complex, but yet it does work well in terms of composition and the elements in the photo. The chromatic balance as well in this case are really strong. I think also the exposure is nailed it well.
Brilliant, very clear. And it's interesting as well, actually, because I know from talking to you and seeing your work before that you're a documentary photography in your personal shooting, and you look at the ones you've chosen, there's definitely a bias, which is all part of the fun. Okay then, so next one, James Anderson, not the England bowler, but at Jimbo_Anderson on Instagram.
Yeah, so this is a brilliant picture. Yet again, so that's why I put it in the top 12. It deserves a mention of honor. It's a really daily life in a market, family butchers, English flag, really patriotic kind of shot, but yet it really shows the core of England, and also the trumpet being blown by this lady, and everybody looking at the situation in the background. There is a nice blur of the gentleman at the far back. So the overall composition and framing works really well. Also, the exposure is very well balanced, but yet it tells a story. So that's why I really appreciate this picture. Is really the essence of the daily English life, which in this case is portrayed really clearly and really well.
Yeah, and it's another one that, apart from the very modern food hygiene rating at the bottom, could easily be a photo from the 1970s.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, something very different then. So this is Claire Piet at Claire Picky on Instagram.
Yeah, Claire Piet in this case made a really interesting shot. It's really ethereal kind of mood. It's almost like a montage if you look at it. It is very minimalistic in terms of elements in the image, but yet looks like the little kid is like the two faces of the same medal, of the same coin, where it's like life, you know, you can choose positivity or sadness or negativity, and it looks like in this case having the kid with the yellow hair at the far back and the one with the pink hair in the front, it makes it quite dramatic, and it looks like it's almost like a reflection of the same subject. Yet again, as I said, the rocks, the grass, elements of kind of static element, which is the rock, and the grass is more like dynamic. So it does really nail the kind of ethereal and more conceptual, because you will see in the next shots also some more conceptual shots. So yeah, really cool, really cool composition, a really nice concept here.
It's also really nice the idea that, you know, you have these on the same, you know, these people are both on photo walks on the same day, but where they ended up, an indoor market, and what looks like a beachfront or something is really nice.
Yeah, Paul, this is what I found about the Analogue community, by the way. It's just so refreshing to speak with people that focus less on gear and more on the results, in the sense that the gear is important, as we know, it gives the results that we see, but also thinking about a concept, thinking about a project, and look further, not only at the nice images, but more at the conceptual, study a little bit deeper photography instead of just having a nice picture to put on Insta.
I think that's great, because you've obviously done a lot of photo walks with photographers all over, and a lot with digital around the Ricoh, especially the Ricoh GR. And I remember you saying that at the end of the walk, that the conversations that happened on the Big Film Photowalk just had a very different flavour, which is lovely to hear. Okay, Barry Bridgens, who is at BarryBridgens_in_colour on Instagram.
Yeah, Barry Bridgens really nailed it in this shot. I really appreciate the setting. So there are the three main subjects that are shot at an angle from above, which is a quite tricky shot to take. But yet there is this nice floor with geometric patterns, which works really well. The ball from the two gentlemen playing ping pong is there, so it shows a little bit of motion, so it's a little bit dynamic, but also what really works at the background, you see that reflection, which exaggerate the figure of the players, which I think is very interesting. It's almost like two realities in one shot. The lady with the with the burqa, it really does give also a context, and you can tell that they probably are of an Arabic background or something like that. So it does really, it's really interesting, the composition and the reflection. I think the reflection really makes the shot.
I totally agree. It really jumps out like a sort of a shadow match going on in the background or something similar. Really lovely. Now, I must confess I made a mistake with the forms of submitting. And I forgot to, when I first did it, I forgot to put Instagram handles as a question. So there's a few people coming up who I have the names, but I don't have their Instagram handles. So we will find them out. But apologies for that in advance. So Alan Topping with this shot.
Yeah, Alan Topping, I found this shot really interesting in the sense that it's quite funny. First of all, it does give you that emotion of make you laugh. Wet paint and the lady to saying, come on, stay clear from this paint. And it looks like a painting with the sign on top. So which for me is quite clever, you know. Although it's a picture, it reminds me of some paintings from the 1800s. I can't remember the author of the painting, probably Botticelli, to be honest, made something like similar to this. But yeah, wet paint on top of something that looks like a painting, and the picture of the lady with a funny expression. It does give a lot of character to the image, and it does give a story as well. Once again, it does tell a story.
No, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's very, yeah, a still life, a portrait, and a street photography all in one.
Indeed.
Bill Paget, or Paget, I don't know how to pronounce the surname, but Bill.
Yeah, Bill capture here another moment of the daily life, but with some originality. So all the film, the connection between these images is definitely the overall originality. I look at original kind of pictures that tell you a story, but yet are really interesting. So in this case, the tattoos, of course, tell a story of the lady that is into this kind of art, but as well having the kid on her lap and looking at the phone at the same time. It's also something that is quite intriguing to see, because now a mother look at the phone instead of focusing on the kid, which is not all the time, of course, but this tell a story about how we evolve in society and how we use these digital devices, and sometimes it does put a barrier between ourselves, or in this case the mother and the daughter. But overall, I like the angle, like a lower angle. You can see the lady at the back having a beer, the kid clothes on the table. So all the settings is quite clear, very nice, and kind of original also composition that the shooter Bill, the photographer, had here. So yeah, also the expression in the baby girl face, where it's a little bit bored, is quite interesting. I think all overall works well together.
Brilliant. Right, we've got 5 photos to go, and I've just been told my phone is low on battery, so we'll rattle through the last few. Owen Hennessy, who has won a few different photo competitions with us over the years, fantastic photographer. What caught your eye about this?
So this is really self-explanatory in terms of image, which for me is quite interesting to see that there is the gentleman working on the boat. There are some tools on the boat, and he's just having a look, I believe, to his phone. But it looks like, apart from the lines that really lead the eyes towards the background, it looks like the gentleman is waiting for the tide to come up and make the boat float again. So it's quite interesting to see him sitting there is well composed. I believe, as you can see, there is a rule of third used properly. The overall horizon is nice and straight. The exposure, I like the exposure. He kept the highlights. You can see the clouds there, and everything is nice and clear. So really nice, and some patterns as well. Again, as you can see, the poles on the right hand side really nail the shot. I think patterns and conceptual, it does nail everyday life in, I don't know, do you know where is this harbor?
Do you know? I don't know which walk Owen was on, to be honest. We'll have a look afterwards. We've got
No
another.
problem.
Here we go. It's the last one before we go to the top three. Another beach photo.
Yeah, so this is Greg Artis. Really beautiful shot. It was really close to make it to the top three. I'll be honest with you. The only reason why I didn't give the top three is just because it reminds me a lot of Martin Parr. And there is nothing wrong with it.
It's very Martin Parr, yeah.
Very Martin Parr. Fantastic shot. Nothing wrong with going that kind of route. And it works. The dog looking at the camera, the gentleman looking away, eating something, having a tea. The sky is nicely exposed. The colors, the color patterns, the light blue on the mat, on the chair, on the background, it matches together. There is a balance and a connection between the colors. The gentleman really enjoying himself, really not caring about what's going on, and the rocks on the floor, and the rocks on the floor. It does give a lot of impact. It's a quite impactful picture. I like the image
as well. You can see
there's a nice vignetting, yeah,
just pull your eye.
yeah, which make the shot, yeah, definitely make the shot. And then, yeah, it's daily life. It's quite impactful, but there is lacking a little bit of originality there. But I really like it. It's not. It didn't make to the top three only for the a little bit originality. Yeah, that's it. A nice solid shot.
And again, like I'll keep saying it because I think it's worth doing. Like 1,200 photos, and they were all really good. So you guys had already selected yourselves your favorite photos. We could have talked about 200, 300. So if you're in those special mentions, thank you, congratulations. We'll get hold of your emails and we'll send you these prints that we've done for you as a little memento of your time. So now we move on to the top three. So only the top one gets a Pentax and a full bang. Places 2 and 3 will get some Kodak film. And number 3 is actually one of the Photowalk organisers and a well-loved part of the film community. Rachel Brewster Wright at Little Vintage Photography is number 3. So what did you like about this, Antonio?
Yeah, so Rachel really nailed the shot here, because I believe the fact that you see this kind of three-dimensional athlete jumping the hurdles, and it really does give a three-dimensionality to the picture, which is quite difficult to achieve. On top of that, there is a really powerful message, and it's like powering positivity, and there is someone working on this, would say, billboard, and then there are all these nice messages on the bottom of it: progress, not perfection, believe in yourself, never give up, and so on, which is a powerful message within the message, in the sense that powering positivity is a work in progress. In fact, you see the human action there, someone fixing the painting. So I think it does really tell a strong story, yet is very iconographic. It just gives you a really strong message, and the proportion between the elements is really well nailed it. So yeah, really well done to Rachel.
Well done, Rachel. Yeah, I agree. I think if I was there, I'd have been tempted to crop too tight, and what Rachel's done is brilliantly is to keep in the sort of the older buildings and this arm coming through. It gives a much better balance, I think, of the overall photo. So congratulations, Rachel. We'll be in touch with some film on your way. Right, number 2, David Giles.
Second place, yes. So Dave Giles really, in my view, nailed this shot. Sometimes I just want to prize this second place, because Dave used a simple concept, which is conceptual photography, which sounds easy, but when you start trying to give a message through your images, going in a subtle way and trying to give these messages while you take the shot. In this case, Dave really nailed it, in the sense that these bars and then the wall where everybody writes something, and Oxford stands with Palestine. Again, apart from the political side of things, there is war going on, so it's very actual. It's very like in the moment. So he really captured the texture of all these people writing. So it does give a big impact. The bars out of focus gives that kind of separation and also gives you sense of depth, which is quite difficult to achieve when you are photographing a wall. So it does have a strong concept, and the fact that he chose this, it really shows that he knows what he's doing, and as well is really touching in the sense that whatever it is the situation, there is a war going on which is not great, absolutely. And having this kind of messages written on the wall and this kind of conceptual photography, I think is a really strong photography and a strong message from Dave Giles. So
well
really
done,
nice.
well done, Dave. We will we'll be in touch as well. Congratulations! And here we go, the winner of the Pentax 17 film camera, the winner of a Kodak goodie bag is Gregor Boyd.
Yes, Gregor Boyd. So the photo walk was all about street photography, Paul. So yes, is a very good timing that Gregor chose here. He really captured the moment. He froze the moment, and he captured the expression of the gentleman. He captured the fire on the floor near the wheel. He captured also some betting institution and other shops, which shows really the core essence of the UK, where this is a classic scene you see. I mean, in the sense that you see this is a typical situation you see in the streets. So not saying that betting is in the
I don't know what you're trying to say
blood.
about our high streets,
No,
Antonio, but I
no,
agree.
no. Yeah, but yeah, I street there are these kind of settings, but making something ordinary extraordinary, he did it, and I think it's quite difficult to find something like that. I haven't seen anything like this in 1,200 images. So well done to Gregor, well deserved first place in my view. Yes, there is a little bit of documentary photography bias there, is true, but yeah, it's street, isn't it? It's street photography. It's
Absolutely, and
living the moment.
of the photo walks, I mean, they were generally based around cities because that's easy for people to get to. A couple went to beaches, as we've seen. There were a couple in the countryside, but the majority of them were cities, and it's wonderful to see such variety come through. So thank you so much, Antonio, for doing that. That is really, really wonderful. Thank you. And all of Pentax Rico for supporting on the day itself, the Big Film Photowalk. I mean, 800 people around the country, all shooting film, all shooting Kodak Gold. So thank you, Kodak, for helping supporting as well with the walk and the competition. But
You're welcome, Paul.
Was on the walk. Sorry.
No, I said you're welcome, and I'm glad that Analogue Wonderland is so involved in this kind of nice activities. I'm sure everybody enjoyed the walks. We had a great feedback, and Pentax is really happy to collaborate with such a great institution like Analogue Wonderland, because now you became an institution in the business. So you speak with the designers at Pentax about the new cameras. So it's great,
exactly.
And it's always a pleasure to join and judge some images together.
Yeah, TKO.
Because you are also a good photographer. Don't forget.
TKO called me his analog brother, which is my highlight of my career so far. No, for sure. Thank you so much. We'll leave it there for now. So anyone in the Club AW, watch out for emails. You can hear a lot more from Antonio next week. You've got a little taste of him there, a little preview of his skills and experience. Thank you so much for jumping on here. We'll send out an email to all the winners. We'll get a little blog post up in socials as well in case you couldn't catch this whole video. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
So this is the awkward bit you get to watch where Amy and I now have to work out whether you save it before you press cancel or after.